Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and as promised in the previous video, I am taking a look back at the 1978 television series Battlestar Galactica. You can see my DVD case right over there, and this is the original Battlestar Galactica. This was the first television show that I remember ever getting into as a kid that was not a cartoon, and probably it is the first television show that I can remember watching, again, that is not a cartoon. I was 4 years old when they started showing the 1978 series in Kuwaiti television, and that's where I was born, and I was raised for the first 11 years of my life. Along with my family, we were living there, and my sister and my older sister and my family used to tell me that I used to jump up and down. I don't remember that part. I do remember getting excited for it, but yeah, I used to jump up and down. I think there was a home video of me getting really excited because the theme song was actually playing, and that, as well as the 1990 Galactica series, which was the sequel, of course, much maligned sequel. But yeah, these two shows as a kid was amazing for me. I do think that the 1978 series has a place in all science fiction fans, collection. Like I have it in mind, proudly displaying over there right now. But yeah, it's one of the main things that I wanted to collect as soon as I decided to start collecting proper DVDs and such. So after Star Trek, this probably is my favorite. And along with the new shows, but don't get me wrong, I do love the new show. I love Stargate. I love a lot of other science fiction shows. But yes, nostalgically, this is number one. So, like I said, the show came out in 1978, and the pilot is actually a movie. But I believe in some stations they played it as a three-parter, maybe even split it across. However, I've only seen it as a full movie, and I believe they did have a limited theatrical release as well. I remember that it was actually quite popular in Canada. It even outdid the A New Hope movie, the first Star Wars film, or Episode 4 is what you want to call it. But yeah, for me, and I think some of my cousins as well, I have some cousins who used to live in the UK, and they also have seen it as a movie as such, or a television movie kind of thing. And they also love the original series. I think maybe at least one or two of my cousins. The other one was probably way too young. So the television series stars Richard Hatch, Dirk Benedict, and Lon Green, along with John Colicos as the villain, absolutely super villainous character. Maren Jensen, Noah Hathaway, Herb Jefferson Jr., Laurette Sprang, and later on Anne Lockhart, among a few of the other recurring actors as well. So, what is the show all about? Well, I'm going to split this movie review, or this television movie review, into two. I actually did it earlier, but somehow I deleted one half of it, so I'm going to definitely do this once again. So the movie is basically about a group of humans who are basically humans are supposed to have evolved on a distant planet called Kobol, and basically when Kobol was no longer able to sustain humanity life, the population had grown quite kind of too much for a single planet. Humanity left Kobol in groups, or rather tribes of 12, and they settled on distant colonies, 12 different planets in another star system, way far away from them. And this is several thousand years after the events of the exodus from Kobol. So what happened is they settled on different planets, and they definitely had much advanced technology than what humans are supposed to have on Earth at the moment, but let's keep that aside for now. And so these 12 planets are actually named after the constellations, like, for example, Caprica, Virgon, etc., Gemini, all those things. So because they came to the aid of an alien race known as the Hazaris, who were their neighbors as well as friends. The Hazaris were in a war with a reptilian species called Cylons. and this reptilian Cylons were actually a race that was dying out. So they had already created these kind of metallic robots which have got the shape of a man. And I believe that in one of the stories they actually say that they decided to take the overall shape of a human because they found that that was the best shape anatomically available. So they made these robots called Cylons, metallic robots. And they're the ones who are actually doing the fighting now because the race has actually died out. In fact, by the time that we reach the events of the movie, the reptilian Cylons have all died out except for a mysterious imperious leader who is part artificial intelligence, because when he dies his consciousness is actually downloaded into a new body resembling the original, and he can definitely carry on. So the Hazaris have also been wiped out, and now it has been a 1,000-year war between the Cylons and the humans. And at the end of this 1,000 year, the Cylons suddenly decide that they want to sue for peace. They want to declare peace. So an armistice is declared with the aid of a politician in the human ranks known as Baltar, played by John Colicos. Amazing villain. He was also in Star Trek, the original series, in I think in only one episode, but he came in DS9 as a recurring character in I think 3 or maybe 4 episodes. Amazing villain. As Balta, and an amazing Klingon as well. So he approaches the president of the human group, as well as they have a council known as the Council of 12. So he approaches the president and the Council of 12, and they're all in favor of the armistice. However, there is one person on the council who isn't convinced, and that's Commander Adama, who represents Capricorn. And Adama is played by the late great Canadian actor Lon Green, who had the voice of he had a very deep, somber voice. So he used to be a radio announcer, I think a radio news announcer. So in World War II, he was on Radio Canada, one of the Canadian stations, and he used to actually read out the news. And they used to call him the voice of doom because it was basically all news about the war, and it never is actually quite good, but at the same time, because of his deep voice, they call him the voice of doom. So Lon Green plays this patriarch. He is the commander of the large Battlestar. So humans have these large Battlestars, and he is in charge. He is the commander of the Battlestar Galactica, which is the title of our series as well. So he isn't convinced. There is a patrol that is sent. A routine patrol headed by Captain Apollo, who is the son of Adama, and his younger brother, I forgot his name. Anyway, we'll leave that for now, and his younger brother. And unfortunately, they run into a Cylon ambush, and they realize that the Cylons are faking this armistice, and they are in fact planning a large-scale attack, both on the fleet, which are far away from the colonies, and on the colonies, which are preparing a celebration in lieu of the armistice. So basically, the colonies are unprotected. The Cylons come and attack. They kill Zach. Sorry, that's the name of the younger brother. He is killed. Apollo, however, does manage to come and reach the Battlestar Galactica, and he gives a warning to everyone. So they are the only ones who are actually in a position to defend themselves when the Cylon raiders come and attack. Everyone else is wiped out. All the Battlestars and they are wiped out. It's just the single Battlestar Galactica and a bunch of they're in their Vipers, their attack Vipers, shuttles or whatever you call it, and that's it. Everybody else is being killed off. On the colonies, the Cylon raiders come and attack. They kill off huge sections of the population. In fact, I don't think they actually mention what is the remaining population that survives, but I'm guessing it's similar to the reboot series, which is roughly around, I would say maybe like 10 to 12,000. Not 10 to 12,000, 50,000. So Adama's wife is also killed. She was back on Caprica. So they go, he and his son go back to Caprica, and they meet a few group of survivors who are angry and upset, but they manage to convince them, telling that everybody else has been wiped out, including the president and the actual Council of 12. But it's just one Battlestar Galactica, one Battlestar that is left. So he asked them to spread the word out and say that all the remaining survivors are supposed to get into whatever sort of spaceships that they can actually get into that will fly them across the galaxy, and they're trying to find a new home. So when they ask them what is where their destination is, Adama reveals that there is a myth among that is known to very few people, that is currently known to very few people in the hierarchy of the authorities and among the colonies, that when the humans left Cobol, they actually left in 13 tribes and not 12. But everybody knows only the 12, and the 13th tribe is supposed to have actually gone off in a different direction and settled on another planet which was called Earth. So that's where they're supposed to be heading out to. So it's basically a survival story where where the people are supposed to come in. So they decide to head through a very dangerous part of where there are Cylon mines in space. Apollo, his best friend Starbuck, who is played by Doug Benedict. Now I forgot to mention that Apollo is played by the late Richard Hatch, and Starbuck, who is another lieutenant, his best friend, is played by Doug Benedict, who plays a kind of almost a Han Solo kind of rogue playboy kind of thing, the best pilot in the fleet, and who is an orphan, who is loves to play, loves to gamble, is a womanizer kind of thing. He has a on and off thing with Athena, played by Marilyn Jansen, who is Adama's daughter. She's also an officer on the Battlestar Galactica. And basically, he has a commitment phobia. So he also meets up with Cassiopeia, played by Laurette Sprang. These women are all lovely in this show. And so what happens is, she is a solicitor, so she's actually, shunned by some of the people in the fleet. So Starbuck kind of like takes her under his wing and plays sort of two-timing Athena with. He hasn't committed to her completely, so maybe you can't call it two-timing, but he also has a thing going on with Cassiopeia. So on the way to a planet which they hope has a mine full of the fuel that they require, the chemical that they require for their spaceships. Thalarium, I think it's called. It's a planet called Carillon. They have to pass through this very, very dangerous section of space where there are a lot of Cylon mines. But they are expecting that once they pass through that area, they won't run into any Cylons, and they can recoup at Carillon, and then once they have enough fuel, they can go on their merry way. So Starbuck, Apollo, and their friend played by Herb Jefferson Jr. called Boomer, they go and they go as the advanced scouts, and they blast all the mines, giving enough space for the fleet to actually go through, and then they landed. They reach Carillon, where they start looking for mines, but they also run into something which took them by surprise. And I'll continue that in the second part of this video. Thank you.